Mass General Brigham has laid off hundreds of employees with a second wave of layoffs expected any day now. And this is super important because they're not only the state's largest healthcare system, but also the state's largest employer.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Thousands of hardworking Americans showing up to work one day, only to walk out with a box the next. The very people who built these companies are now the first to be tossed aside, while CEOs collect bonuses for reducing overhead. It's not a business adjustment, it's a betrayal of loyalty. If you've been through a layoff or seen your company pull the same move, drop a comment. Let's move on to the video.
Today on Businesses Behaving Badly, we have General Motors, which has now laid off 200 workers this holiday season from its Warren, Michigan tech center just north of Detroit. So, employees were told that the layoffs were for business conditions and not due to their particular performance as employees. They fired all these employees at 7 a.m. over Slack. Very personal, way to go GM. Now, this is despite the fact that GM posted better than average earnings this quarter for third quarter. So they're still making far below average vehicles, as we all know, that tend to be way too expensive and break down generally about at 150,000 miles, which is why I didn't end up buying a Silverado this last year, despite the fact that I think they're the best looking truck. So GM, you can lay off workers, based on the stock price, even though it's a good quarter for you. But the fact is that hundreds of vehicles sitting on these lots all across America are not getting sold because you guys are asking for $50,000 plus for a new truck that is base model with no bells and whistles. It's absolutely ridiculous. You guys have lost your minds, especially when, like I said, Silverados look great, GMCs look great. However, if you buy a Tacoma or a Tundra, it's going to go 300,000 or 400,000 miles. How many times do you drive down the freeway and see an endless number of Tacomas that look like they were built in 1990? Like, it's ridiculous that you guys are still making stuff that craps out and requires a new transmission at 150,000 miles, while other brands will go more than double the distance for less repair cost. So I understand why people aren't buying GM and Chevys for the most part. I totally get the patriotic thing of wanting to buy an American brand, but at the same time, I couldn't do it myself because of the huge financial risk of going with these brands that haven't fixed their quality like ever. And so this is their own fault, and to have to lay off employees when they won't fix their quality problems is also their fault. So shame on you, GM.
I've been telling you, you're not safe. 1,700 workers from General Motors have been cut, and this is probably just the first round. Now, this is only happening, I think, Michigan and one other state. But that doesn't mean that it won't come to your state. See, this is why I came online. Not only did I want to get away from the rat race, the BS, the chance of being let off, because they don't care about your achievements at the job. They don't care about what you've done. They don't care about how much money you've made them. If they keep you around, can they get the most out of you? And if they don't keep you around, who can they hire to replace you that's cheaper and will do more labor? That's what those jobs are doing for you. Places like General Motors, other companies are laying off workers left and right, but you're still here complaining about you ain't got no money and you can't provide for your family. This is why I came online. A simple blueprint, 2 hours a day, 24/7 automated system. I don't have to bother anybody or have any tech skills. But I'm able to generate and I'm able to have my freedom of my time back. So for more information, type how below and I got you.
He's right about one thing. Corporate loyalty is dead. 1,700 GM workers cut is no small number, and those jobs don't come back. But notice the shift. Within seconds, it turns into I escaped the rat race. Now you can too. That's where it loses me. The truth is that real financial freedom isn't built from some 2-hour online system. It's built from stability, savings, skills, and long-term consistency, things that don't fit neatly into a TikTok funnel. So yes, layoffs are real, but beware of anyone who turns mass unemployment into marketing copy. Do you think these online escape the 9-to-5 people are helping, or just cashing in on fear? But anyway, in the next video, we'll see how those who turn people losing their jobs into their own PR opportunity engage in panic trading under the guise of news.
The government shutdown just turned into permanent layoffs. Let me explain in 30 seconds or less. The Trump administration started laying off thousands of federal workers. And no, this is not furloughs. These are permanent layoffs called reductions in force. At least 4 1,000 federal workers got layoff notices. The biggest cuts from the Treasury Department and Health and Human Services, over 1,100 each. This is all according to a Justice Department filing in a federal court in San Francisco. In a press conference on October 10th, President Trump said the firings will be Democrat-oriented. Now, 2 major unions filed a lawsuit to block the firings. One union represents federal workers in Social Security and Homeland Security, and the other represents more of public workers like people who work in healthcare. They're calling these layoffs illegal, and they actually have a court hearing on Wednesday in San Francisco, so time will tell what happens with that. So there's a lot to unravel with this government shutdown. If you need some help navigating through it, I'm Brianna. I am an Emmy Award-winning anchor. I'm a native New Yorker, and I help navigate all the things from news, interesting headlines, pop culture. Let me know. I can help you navigate that. And if you have any other questions about the government shutdown, let me know.
Hey, TikTok. I'm on the way back to my job to see if I got laid off. And I have my emotional support friend to come with me. Alright, I'm at my job. My heart is literally racing, y'all. Like, it's being so fast. My email is loading. I got laid off because I'm still on my probationary period, but my probationary period literally ends in 2 weeks. Well, this is awkward. I'm not surprised, but this is awkward. And, at the moment, I don't have any way to keep funding my interview series, KB For Real, that you all been watching and enjoying. So, I don't know. I just know that God has something bigger in store for me because this already was a pit stop. So, I don't know, y'all. Just keep me in your thoughts and your prayers. And if you got something out for me, send it my way. I don't know what to say. I don't have the words. I'm just like, I guess my 5 bullet points that I had to send Elon of what I did last week was not good enough.
You can feel every ounce of that shock. That moment when the email loads and you already know what's coming. It's like the air gets punched out of your lungs. Probation period layoffs hit the hardest. You're not even fully in yet, and suddenly it's over. But here's the thing. This isn't personal. Companies are cutting jobs by the thousands right now, even solid performers who did everything right. It's not about effort anymore. It's about budgets, automation, and shareholders. Have you ever been laid off or blindsided by a company that acted like family 1 week and gone the next? How did you handle that silence afterward? But anyway, in the next video, we'll see those cold, impersonal faces describing the suffering of thousands of workers left without pay as if it were just statistics.
Layoffs have hit recession levels in October. Are we in a recession? The answer, according to Moody's top economist, is yes. Yes, we are in a recession and layoffs are skyrocketing. They are the highest since. According to Moody's top economist, 22 states are in a recession. Manufacturing is in a recession. Production is in a recession. Therefore, companies are cutting back because they're worried about the economy and they're also not making money because people are not spending money. Layoffs are going to continue to skyrocket. Hi, my name's Christina. I have a master's degree in business and I've been screaming for months all of the economic warning signs. No job creation, layoff, consumer not spending, corporations not spending, corporations not hiring. That's all a recipe for an economic disaster. I normally tell you to get your finances in order, but I know most people are paycheck to paycheck, laid off, or we're in a government shutdown, the longest in history, day 36. Drop a comment and follow for more. I'm going to keep you updated on layoffs and the economy. It's very important that you stay ahead of the news.
153,000 jobs gone in October. That is the most in more than 2 decades, according to the latest data out of Challenger Gray and Christmas. But is it AI that's to blame? Is it automation? Some are saying that this is actually AI washing. Yes, it is tech warehousing, where we've seen a lot of jobs go during the month of October. But UPS announced an astonishing amount of jobs to go, 34,000, and more to come in corporate parts. You've seen Amazon announcing 14,000 jobs to go, Rivian, other tech companies. But is this actually just a right sizing of overhiring during COVID? Is this, as the economy is on tenterhooks, as we see the consumer pull back ahead of the holiday period, is the labour market just more broadly slowing, and that's why you're getting calls for interest rate cuts? And is it being blamed on automation and AI rather than it actually really being about automation and AI? I'd love to hear your thoughts, because you are hearing others stand out from the crowd. Look, Jamie Dimon over at JP Morgan. You've seen Doug McMillan at Walmart say, look, we're not actually going to be reducing our workforce. If we do AI right, yes, every job is going to change, but actually we're going to have the same amount of total employees. And in fact, the WEF, World Economic Forum, thinks that on net, we will add far more jobs because of artificial intelligence and the productivity gains that we'll see. So is this really tough time that we're feeling in the labour market because of AI and automation? Or is it a nice blame factor to cover up previous missteps? Let me know.
153,000 jobs gone in 1 month. That's the highest number we've seen in over 20 years. Most of these layoffs aren't happening because robots suddenly learned to do your job overnight. They're happening because these companies overhired during COVID, made billions off cheap money, and now they're cleaning house before Q4 earnings. It's optics. Dress it up as AI restructuring. And shareholders don't panic. Call it budget correction. And it sounds brutal. Call it AI transformation. And it sounds innovative. Even the World Economic Forum and CEOs like Walmart's Doug McMillan are saying, if we use AI right, we won't lose jobs, we'll change them. So this might not be about machines replacing people. It's about people being the easiest line item to cut when profits tighten. Do you think AI is actually replacing jobs? Or is corporate America just hiding behind the buzzword to justify mass layoffs? Drop your thoughts below. I'm curious where you stand.
I was just laid off last week. The company I worked for the last 4.5 years decided to close their doors. I shouldn't say decided, kind of had to. So let's talk about it. Also, there is nothing that hits harder than a witch's brew Alani when it is 43 degrees outside. And I've tried recording this like 5 times. Sorry for the awful angle. I had this fun little thing that's supposed to like be able to go on my window. It broke, or I'm not using it right. I don't freaking know, but now I'm annoyed. So anyway, that was the thing that about made me crash out this morning, was that this stupid phone holder. I've had a lot of feelings over this layoff. Weirdly, a sense of like peace and calm, I think. And I think it's because, so the company I've worked for over the last 2 years, maybe we've done 4 or 5 rounds of layoffs, some restructuring, all of those things. I was lucky enough to like make it till the end. But I think it's just been the constant stress of like, are we going to make it? The highs and lows, all of those things. And now it's like, we have an answer. And so I think is there a filter on me? Or is this just really good lighting? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so I think that's kind of why I feel this weird sense of calm. It's like there's no longer that like roller coaster of emotions of like what's going to happen. And with that, it's like we've known that there was a potential that this company wasn't going to make it, especially over the last like month or so. And so that was pretty stressful. And, you know, I feel like we've been mourning the potential loss of the company that whole time. So I'm not super sad because I think I've already had that chance to be sad. I've been kind of sad for a while about it. And so this is just like, I don't know. Again, I don't know. It's a weird feel. But the one thing that really gets to me is, like I said, we've had layoffs and stuff over the last few years. And those of us that were left at the company, I don't know, maybe 50 of us. I don't even know if that was the number. I'm just making this up. We went from several hundred to 50 here at the end. All of us that were still there, I think I can speak for all of us when I say we were all still with the company because we really believed in what we did. We loved what we do. We believed in the mission, and we we're going down with the ship, our white knuckle dying grip, right? And we were going to be there till the end because we really just were hoping things would get better. And we wanted to be there when it did. And it's a little frustrating because from my understanding, everyone that's been laid off prior got some sort of severance package and we get nothing. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand business is business, and working for a startup, there was a lot of investors involved. So investors, shareholders, debts need paid first. I get that. But it's just one of those things where it's like, we really meant nothing. And that's frustrating. That's at any job, I'm sure. But it's just, that's the big thing that's like eating me alive over this last week and these last few days. And I don't know why. And it's not even the fact that we're not getting anything. It's just like the morals. Is it morals behind it? Does that even make sense? It's just like the fact that we literally just meant nothing to them. And we gave everything to them. And I think that's the part that I hate the most. But would I have done anything different? Probably not. I probably still would have. Like, knowing this, I probably still would have just stuck it out till the end because, again, I was there to watch the company go the other way and really hoping we could change. But yeah, that's just been a hard pill to swallow, kind of like a punch to the gut, all of those things. So anyway, and since being laid off, of course, my TikTok is full of layoff videos and talking about how there's so many people getting laid off in 2025. And so if you get laid off or have been laid off, I'm with ya. I feel ya. I don't know if you feel this way, but since being laid off, I feel like the biggest POS for now not providing financially to my family. And I don't know why. I'm sure that's something that'll I'll get over. And it's not like there's not other options for me with my degree and experience. I know there's plenty out there. I kind of just took the weekend off and like not thinking about jobs. And I'm going to start looking and seeing my options, this week. But just the fact knowing that I don't have a job and I've had a job since I was like 17 or 18, I just feel like the biggest piece of shit. So that's cool. But anyway, thanks for listening to me ramble. I think needed to vent, to talk. And yeah, I'm going to go enjoy my first day of unemployment. I'm not even sure what I'm going to do. I might go through my daughter's clothes and reorganize her closet because what else am I supposed to do with my time?
What's heartbreaking here isn't just the layoff itself, it's the calm after the storm. She's not angry, just empty. When you've lived on edge for years, wondering every week if it's your turn, finally hearing it's over almost feels like relief. That's not peace, that's burnout. What she says here is something a lot of workers will relate to. We really believed in the mission. That's the loyalty trap, the emotional tax that keeps employees holding the rope even as the ship sinks. You can hear the heartbreak when she says we meant nothing to them. That's the gut punch of capitalism. People give their hearts to a company and find out at the end they were just another liability on a spreadsheet. Feeling like a failure after being laid off is so common, yet so misplaced. She's blaming herself for a corporate decision that had nothing to do with her work ethic. Have you ever been through a layoff like this? Drop a comment if you've been there, because her story is the story of millions right now.
Mass General Brigham has laid off hundreds of employees with a second wave of layoffs expected any day now. And this is super important because they're not only the state's largest healthcare system, but also the state's largest employer. Hi, I'm Penny Commit. Here's the Boston Tea. It's Tuesday, February 11th. So this all comes after the hospital system announced a budget shortfall of $250 million. Mass General Brigham employs over 82,000 people across several hospitals, and they say they're not laying off any clinical or patient-facing positions. Sources tell WBZ that they're starting with a redundancy in middle administrative roles, but nurses we spoke with say this will still cause a trickle-down effect. They're still going to be left doing more work and work that's not really their responsibility. Or shouldn't be. We're told that Brigham and Women's and Mass General Hospital are taking the bulk of these cuts and that those people that are being laid off are being offered severance packages. Now, you may remember another reason this is a big deal is because over the summer, 2 hospitals closed, the Neshoba Valley Medical Center and Kearney Hospital in Dorchester. The nurses at MGB said that they've had to kind of take on all of those patients They're already stretched thin. Now they're going to have to take on an even bigger workload. One nurse told us, quote, "I walk through the emergency room and it's wall-to-wall people." She also says, "We're getting calls all throughout the state, so it is a shocker to me that they're reporting a loss or even an impending loss." The hospital system did respond with a quote. I'll read you part of it. They pretty much defended their decision and then said, "The steps we are taking now to evolve our organization will play a critical role in ensuring that Mass General Brigham continues to lead, innovate, and transform the future of healthcare for the benefit of everyone." And of course, this opens up a broader question. What is the state of healthcare, not only in Massachusetts, but across the country? Why is it so fragile? A lot of experts tell us that the healthcare industry is in for a reckoning. Again, a second round of layoffs expected any day. We're not sure how many people or what positions, but we'll keep you posted at WBZ.com.
Massachusetts just lost hundreds of healthcare jobs, and the cuts aren't done yet. Mass General Brigham, the state's largest hospital network and its biggest employer, is laying off workers amid a massive $250 million budget shortfall. And what's worse, nurses say patients will feel the impact, even though the hospital claims no patient-facing roles are being touched. This right here shows how deep the healthcare crisis is getting. These hospitals are already packed beyond capacity, and the staff is running on fumes. Cutting anyone right now, even if it's admin, means more cracks in an already collapsing wall. This isn't just about Massachusetts. It's about the national healthcare bubble that's ready to pop. Hospitals closing, staff burning out, patients waiting hours for care, and executives still talking about innovation while holding pink slips. If you work in healthcare, I want to hear from you. Are these layoffs already hitting your hospital too? Drop a comment and tell me what you're seeing on the ground.